engines and systems and well, you can start with the ball bearing or start wherever you want, but why and how they can last forever is really what.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you the really simple version here. If there's a YouTuber, and this is the irony of ironies to me. There's a YouTuber who goes by Uncle Tony's Garage, and he likes to sit in, he's an older like we are. And he likes to sit in a rocking chair, and he holds a connecting rod in his hand. And he said, civilization is built on this connecting rod, which I think is ironic because that's the weak link. That's the Achilles heel of every car engine ever made. It's the connecting. That's what makes the engine wear out.
Oh.
The reason being is when that connecting rod is pushing up on the piston, it's actually not pushing straight up. It's pushing the piston into the side of the cylinder wall. It's bringing it out of concentricity. It's not. In other words, that hole is not round anymore. It's ellipsoidal. It's starting to come out of shape, and that's what makes that's what the primary cause of wear. The solution to that is actually something that's existed forever. It's called a hypocycloid drift. In other words, what that does make the piston go straight up and down. The wear is even, and that's why on the engine Sky Huddleston was developing it. He actually uses a Scotch yoke, which is a similar mechanism. But if you don't have the side loading, the cylinder walls, that engine will last forever. I mean, it'll last. Well, here's the thing: it won't last forever. But the example that Sky Huddleston puts out, you've got an engine that lasts 10 million miles. And once that engine's worn out at 10 million miles, you do a 30-minute rebuild, and it's good for another 10 million. He talks about this in his videos. He's very enthusiastic about it. He's saying these engines can be scaled up. Say if you have a home generator, you can have a megawatt of power and stuff.
Wow, right. What is that called? Over unity, where you basically get
that's a power output. Over unity is a total. We'll get into that too, I'm sure. It's funny if you watch, you'll find a lot of scientists on YouTube. Well, there's no such thing as over unity. You never get more out than what you put in. And I could sit here all day long and come up with examples where you do get more out than what you put in. If you put gas in your car, the gas pump is a 100-to-1 over unity device because it only took 1 gallon of gas to get 100 gallons out of the fuel pump. I mean, and the thing is, I could sit here all night and give you examples.
All of nature, all of everything. We're talking about abundance and gifting. Yeah. One piece of fruit, one berry has 20, plants in it.
Well, yeah, okay. A goji berry has 20 seeds. There's 20 plants. I mean, the thing is,
goji berry is one goji berry.
Nature has to work like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I asked as I put this question out to anybody that challenged me, what would an under unity system look like? Eventually, everything would just become exhausted. Nothing would move anymore. If it took you more energy, I don't know how that system would even work. But supposedly that's the world we live in.
Yes, it's artificially hobbled. But even with the artificial hobbling or the planned obsolescence of any machine, it doesn't actually even do it because nature, which machines are nature, is going to exactly, and it's also going to evolve. Like we're not going to be able to not make more efficient machines. The consciousness is too big. There's too much awareness, and it's over. It's like it's not intuitive, to keep doing this. I mean, it never was, but we're all just so like, this is
getting worse.
Insane. It's getting worse. Yes. Things are breaking down the moment you buy them. Yeah.
Well, I just saw a video on YouTube today. You might get the idea. I watch a lot of YouTube. Guy buys a brand new Cadillac, $100,000 Cadillac. The engine blew up in 1,000 miles. The engine went bad. Now, if I had bought that car, I think I would be really upset with Cadillac over that. Wasn't the owner's fault at all. It was a design defect.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all design defects. Yeah. But so you're just talking about like literally one piston change and it'll last.
Oh, the thing is, that's one of many changes you make to the engine. I mean, we've talked about
Yeah.
um, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Perfection is attained not when there's nothing left to add, but when there's nothing left to take away. And if you apply that to mechanical things, if you look at a mechanical system, you start, well, what can be eliminated out of it? What isn't necessary?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
I'll give you a really, really great example. Sometime in the early 1990s, there was a gentleman named Coates. His last name was Coates. Developed a valve training for a car that if you were to look in your truck's engine right now, there's springs in the valves. Those consume 25% of the engine's energy. 25%. So another
25%.
25%. Yeah. This guy said, well, you don't need that. We just have to you put a rotary valve in there and ceramic bearings and you get back all that lost energy.
Oh, there you go. One fix.
One thing, and it's very simple. It extends the life of the oil. Okay, they put it in a Peugeot 105 and the engine went from 100 to 125 horsepower just by chain because of the 20% increase. Now you could scale the engine down, you could do other things, but that any way you look at it, that's a gain. And it's a very, very simple mechanical change.
And this is what you were saying to me is that basically we can take all of the engines we have now, all the mechanics, and we can simplify them. So you were saying like a typical car, truck engine, I don't know, however many parts, but you could get it down to like three or
One.
four parts. One part. So tell us about that. Tell us about the
Okay.
one part
I
engine.
did I don't know how much you've ever looked at Nikola Tesla, the Tesla,
Total.
the Tesla,
Yeah.
the Tesla turbine.
Yes.
It has one part in the middle. Now you might have some other parts like valves, but if you make that a steam engine. And incidentally, boy, there's a whole nother segue there. The auto industry followed internal combustion when it should have moved toward external combustion.
Mm.
Because any external combustion system you look at is going to operate more efficiently than an internal combustion system. And the very simple reason is if you have fuel and air going through a carburetor into a cylinder, it has a very, very limited amount of time to ignite, unless you have a system that exploits something called isochoric thermal addition. And that's something almost no engine utilizes, and Sky Huddleston goes into that. But if you look at an external combustion system, you have a burner, and that fuel has all the time in the world to burn. It's not rushed or pushed to anything because all it.
Mm.
So now instead of, like I said, having the stopwatch on, okay, you get this much, and it doesn't work very well, especially in a four-stroke engine. I guess the point I would drive home to this, here I am, I graduated from high school in 1987, and I know these things. You think an engineer knows them?
No.
How many engineers do you think there are in the world that they work for Ford and they have ideas like this and they approach them and, well, we can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This,
Yeah.
this has to wear out in 10 years. We can't.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, exactly. They just hobbled. I mean, this is every profession. We talked about that. Like every field, there's no room to explore. It's in order to survive in the field, you have to hobble yourself. You have to create artificial limitations.
Mm.
So you can't. You wouldn't have been a good engineer
Well, no,
or
I
excellent
probably would.
engineer in the free world, but not in the.
Well, I probably would have never made it through school. I probably would have like, I can't do this.
No.
Well, you think about it,
Gave up.
you'd have got to whatever company you work for, and every idea you have, they shoot down because, like I said, this has to wear out in 5 years.
Yeah.
Because we want to sell more. Um, but no, that's the thing. The more and the thing is, the deeper you dig into this, the worse it gets. I mean, the thing is, we should be beyond the whole engine thing.
Yes.
We Here's something that is technology, and the thing is, if someone is hearing this right now and they don't believe it, I don't hold that because it's kind of a hard thing to accept. but we're at the point where we should be able to extract electricity directly from the Earthly ionosphere source. We should have
Right.
EVs that are tapped directly into the source, not having to charge the batteries, undergo all the
Go through the whole
changes.
process. Yes.
In other words,
Great.
forget our car and not refuel it or recharge it. You should just drive it, no cost,
Yeah.
because that technology exists. I know it does.
Yeah.
I've seen examples, and it's one thing. There was a gentleman years ago. His name was Tom Bearden, and he was discussing things like
Mm. You're in it.
grower unity. And said, what the one thing that these all have in common is they never needed to have moving.
Ron, if you can hear me, your internet's a little unstable. So I
Okay, I
wonder
can
if
hear you fine.
okay,
Okay.
you're coming in and out a little bit. And it showed me that your internet is unstable. I don't know how others what others' experience is, but it's better now. But if there's a way to like move closer to the wireless or open a door or something, I don't know if that's the case, but it's fine. It seems fine now, but
Okay.
it's just been a
It's
little
it's
spotty.
actually it's in a another part of it's a good distance away, so I
Well, this is
apologize for that.
okay. Um, so how is you were describing how it is you know that these that we could just pull it out of the ether and what?
Well, that comes from there's a book author, and I got to tell you, the man was 70 years old years ago. He may not still be with us, but there's a book author that I think everybody ought, if they're interested in this thing, his name's William R. Wayne. He wrote a book called A Call to Ether Physics.
Mm,
He's actually written several books. He wrote the Occult Science Dictatorship, and he goes into detail. Was based on memory from like a little hand drawing. I don't still have the book, but I've actually drew that based on memory from an illustration in the book. So, and that book was written years and years and years ago. So, basically, he described a system where you're just basically using a weak force to attract a stronger force. In other
mm,
words, you have a field that causes a rising stream of electrons, and
mm.
that.
The signal's really is getting spottier again.
Okay.
Is it possible to move?
Oh, I can move. Yeah, I can move anywhere you want. I mean,
Yeah, just to move closer to the router or the Wi-Fi.
mm, trying to think. I remember exactly where the Wi-Fi, where the router is
Been
here.
there.
Is it any better now, or
It's yeah, I mean it's better now, but it's also like I don't know if I trust it to stay better,
okay?
but it seems okay. I don't know.
Okay. We'll tell you what. Let's see how
I
this
mean,
rolls out.
let's do it. If it goes out two more times, let's try to find it. But
Okay.
let me see.
All
We'll
right.
just the gods of signal come help us.
Okay.
All right.
One other thing, we have some weather going here too. It's actually it's in the garage
Okay.
across the.
Oh, it's in your garage.
And we
Okay.
got some weather,
We got some
so I'd
weather.
have to
Okay.
basically leave here and
Yeah.
walk over to it.
Okay. Yes. Doug says froze twice for a few seconds. Yeah, but again, it's a little better now. So let's just we'll we'll see if
So
uh
I've seen that. And I actually wonder maybe it isn't something with Substack, because I've actually had that I've had that happen with us talking before, or with us on the other live. So, which
yeah.
it may be on my end. So if it is, like, so I'll try to do something to correct it here.
It did say your internet was unstable. Like it'll tell me that. So but I don't know. If you the garage is probably pretty uncomfortable, but is there a room closer to the garage?
Okay, tell you what, let me go on a walk.
Okay. I don't want to keep interrupting you or lose your beautiful stream
Uh,
of thought. What's up, Bob? Hi, Evan. I'll chat. We'll chat while you're working, walking around. Just feels like hanging out. NSA sucks dick. Agreed.
Wrong
That's
one.
what none of the names. Op Opoetel, Louis Kunze, hi. Captain Lippy, hi. Wildfire Rose. Oh, Valfara, like engine talk. You're an engine gal. I wonder if this is fun for you. Truth Seeker,
Let
Diana,
me ask
hi.
this: is it any better now?
Yeah, I don't see any glitches.
Okay, well, tell you what. While I migrate into that, there's
Just no
another
light.
office closer.
Th-
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
let's try that.
Oh, it
And
seems clearer. Yeah.
much better. Okay, it's
Yeah, I
good.
think
Let's
this is good.
try that for a moment.
Okay, great.
I'm gonna close it off. Okay.
Cool.
So where were we?
Okay. Well, tell us tell us your dream. This podcast is a little bit about that. Like, what would be, because you know what's possible. You know what's possible for the world of machines and
Okay.
that they could be hovercrafts and work off the ether and everything. So, like, knowing what you know, all these years that you've been working on these things, what's your vision? Like, if we were talking about having the lab, like making Lockheed Martin into your lab, or your
Okay.
workshop.
The
And let's
grid
say
needs to go
you
away.
have everything accessible to you. You've got the money, you've got the brain power, you've got every helper you could need.
Mm-hmm.
What would you make tomorrow?
I'd want the grid to go away.
You want the grid to go
Because
away.
the grid. Well, here. Think about this for a minute. The power in your house is coming from a power station. 10, 15, 20 miles away or 100 miles away. So you have these giant transmission losses from that.
Mhm.
And this is something Sky Huddleston goes into. I mean, you could generate power at your house off of a gas line and not have the transmission loss. And here's something else. Let's say your power source is in your car. Okay, let's go with the. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me try this because this is something we have. 1 pound of plutonium would power your house for 20 years. And that 1 pound of plutonium puts out so little radiation, it's negligible. And I learned that from a gentleman named Rod Adams. His job was miniaturizing nuclear power. So let's say in this world of advanced technology, you have a vehicle that has its own miniature nuclear reactor running on 1 pound of plutonium. You drive it around, you come home and you plug it into your house, and now it's powering your house. Because remember, these things are making power continuous. You know,
Right. Right. No, there's
okay,
no leak. Yeah. Wow.
yeah, there's right, and um, the thing about that is, y- y- give me a moment here. I'm trying to think of where I'm going with that. The thing is, without the power grid, or your power is now not only decentralized, but it's fluid, it's mobile.
Right.
Like that, you need to take your vehicle somewhere on your construction work, or you need power at your construction site. Now your vehicle is the underlying source, but it's the source of power now.
Right. Right.
So that touches back on the decentralization process from a couple
Yeah.
of years ago.
Got it. So the grid is just emblematic of the system. Everything is plugged
Great
into the system.
vulnerability is what it is. I mean, it's subject to terrorism, and not only that, it gives the state an
Well,
opportunity
the
to
state
create
is the terrorist, but yeah.
well, yeah. No, oh, guess what? The power grid's down now, and it was a terrorist attack, and whatever, and they can make up whatever story because no one's going to verify it.
Mhm.
So that's one thing we could be free of the worry that. Well, another thing, the electric bill go away.
Yeah, yeah, there's no bill. Well, I mean, what we're really talking about is the world we can live in tomorrow or today is a free world where there's no jobs and there's no cost to living.
Mhm.
There's no need for a cost of living. And what you're talking about is at every turn, whether we're talking about converting an engine, whether we're talking about free energy, whether we're talking about decentralization, um, that it's all we've got all the designs, we've got all the blueprints. It's really simple, and everything can be converted. From what we were talking about, like literally everything can be converted. Like there's nothing that couldn't use the ether or plutonium.
Mhm.
Um, and
Well, the thing is, but
it,
the
it's really simple. Yeah.
nuclear model would be in place if you couldn't get the free energy device model up, which I don't imagine that ever be a problem. In fact, I think I'd be willing to bet if you went to Los Alamos or some of these other military, they probably already got these systems in place.
Oh
We
yeah.
just need to find a way to politely say, "Hey, we look, we know you got this."
Well, I'm not big on being polite because what we're doing is saying to each other, "Look, we already have it." So to help people transition off the system, to not believe, to realize they don't need any of it, right? And then it becomes irrelevant. It already is irrelevant. It's already done. But we need to like just beam the signal to each other of like, here's how it is. Here's your blueprint. Your YouTube has has 100 of them. Um,
Mhm.
so it's like I'm wanting us to be bold and like, what's the full dream? It's like, would we even go to plutonium or like converting engines, or would we just go to using ether and hovercrafts and you know what I mean?
Anyway, here's the funny I wanted to touch on the hovercraft thing here real quick. Yeah, because like I said, that was kind of something whenever you and Dave were talking about that. Whenever you think of a hovercraft, you probably imagine something that just moves a lot of air and it rides on a cushion of air.
Yeah.
There's a system, there's a propulsion system called magnetohydrodynamics, where you're not moving any air anymore. You're actually manipulating gravity. Gravity is an electrical phenomenon.
Mm,
And, if I had, I don't know, like an electrical engineer, electrician, a couple fabricators,
mhm.
that'd be one of the things I'd be experimenting with in the skunk works, so
And
to
skunk
speak.
works. Yeah, yeah.
You know, yeah,
The clean works.
if you have two metallic plates, one on top of the other, and one is high voltage, high frequency alternating current, and the lower plate is high voltage direct current, that creates electromechanical buoyancy. This is something Tesla talked about way back in 1912.
Mm,
In fact, there was a quote by Tesla. It was on an edition of Popular Mechanics magazine back in 1913, where he talked about making his ultimate flying machine. He said if you saw it on the ground, you wouldn't recognize it as something that flies because it has neither wings nor a propeller. He's describing an airship.
yes, yes. The
And we are,
Vimanas, the yes.
okay.
The
So,
Vimanas, from the ancient texts, the flying machines that
mhm.
yeah. Anyway, yeah.
But what you're doing, like I said, you're actually this electromagnetic field. Gravity is, let me see how I can word this. Gravity is the byproduct of a moving physical body's interaction with the air. And what that electromagnetic field does is it actually stops the penetration of the etheric particles.
Mm,
So, at any rate, when you're talking about hovercraft, you could have hovercraft more like the kind you would see in like Star Wars, the land speeders.
mhm,
Those hovercraft weren't moving. They weren't moving air. They were creating electromechanical. They were they're so basically just sitting there floating. And it's a common theme in a lot of science fiction movies. Like if you look at something like The Matrix, if you remember the ship, the Nebuchadnezzar,
mhm,
it had what I would call a bunch of magnetohydrodynamic lifters all around it, and they were multi-directional. I don't know how many times if you've ever. Well, I'm sure you've probably seen The Matrix.
mhm, mhm.
But that's how I would describe the propulsion systems.
Got it. Okay. Let's see. We have a
So
comment here. This is Ron. He would be interested in some of my propulsion systems, says Evan, which used geometries and current to harness power and lift. It is not propulsion per se, but movement by ignoring the constraint.
Well, I can wrap my mind around that. I know exactly what he's talking about.
Mm,
You're basically okay. The reason that gravity affects us, we're on something that's moving.
mm,
We're moving around the sun. We're basically flying through. We're moving through the ether. We're being penetrated by what William Line called omnions,
mm,
because the Earth has mass and you have mass. It's like an electromagnetic attraction.
mm,
So that without the ether, there would, I love that people say there is no ether. Without the ether, we wouldn't have gravity.
mm, mhm,
Gravity is it actually depends on the existence of the ether.
mm.
Because I'm sorry if I'm moving the phone around a lot. I have it in my hand.
There we go. Um, got it. Fascinating. Okay. So so what would you do? Like what like so you've got the magic wand and here we have all these, trucks and cars and everything. And you just like we have here's the world as it is.
Mhm.
What would you do day 1?
Oh well,
Yeah,
I think
okay,
very
for
good
off
idea.
grid. We're off grid, right?
Right. Well, we've got all the guys that think like me. I'm gonna have to have a big
Yeah.
confab and start doing some planning.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Okay, we got to draw
what
it
do we
up.
need
Evan's
for this
there.
logistics? Right. And sitting there talking to Evan. Apparently, Evan's kind of
Yeah.
on board with what I'm saying here. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a guy I could probably have a 2-3 hour conversation with too.
Yes,
It
yes.
seems like
Go
he
on
gets
live.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's basically get everybody together, pull all your blueprints together,
Mm-hmm.
and then just from your heart, what would you want to gift? Like what would you want to like what would be the most fun thing for you to create of all the stuff that you've worked on?
Oh, geez. I think the vehicles.
The vehicles.
The
Yeah.
vehicles.
So
It's funny. The reason I actually thought about applying that system to that toroid ranch that I showed you. What
huh,
if you had a house and it floated 15 feet above the ground? Now land isn't an issue. You could park that thing offshore somewhere, and then it just becomes a matter, I guess, of connecting to the surface somehow. You know,
right, right, right,
um,
right. A floating house. I
right.
like it. I like it. I'm for that because then you could just take your
Well,
house wherever you go.
think about this for a minute. Or you could move that somewhere off to some inaccessible mountainous place, or you could have it in one location. I mean,
Yeah,
that's one thing that I've always like. That's actually not the only house I've designed. I actually designed a
like a turtle.
two-story. What's that now?
Sorry, like a turtle.
Oh
You
yeah.
can take your shell.
No, yeah, okay, I'm bored with this spot.
Yeah,
We'll
but,
go over
you know,
here.
make up like, I love when I make my house up and I make it really nice, I wouldn't wanna, like I wanna pack all that stuff up, but I'd like
No,
to, be more in a tropical area. I like this. Flying
landscaping.
houses is where I'm going.
Yeah,
But okay, so vehicles.
landscaping might be it. Well, there is no land to landscape. I guess you'd be airscaping.
It would be airscaping or just but you could tether it and then just be
Well,
whatever landscaping was.
there's another design element of that toroid ranch. I got to thinking, if you put that on a mast, say you built that, one of the reasons it's a toroid is toroids float. So
Mhm,
let's say you build it in a floodplain, and that floodplain floods. Yeah, well, you remember North Carolina here about a year ago? They had those floods.
mhm.
I actually put out a video. I don't think I kept the video up, but what if this had existed in North Carolina during the flooding? The
Yeah,
waters would
yeah,
have receded, the house would have just settled right back on the ground, and everyone would have just kept going on living.
yeah.
See, that's one of the problems with housing to begin with. It's so vulnerable to disasters.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, gosh, everything is so poorly designed.
Well,
Um,
there's a thing when you become technical, everything is designed wrong.
Everything is designed wrong.
Uh,
Literally everything.
you
Yeah.
know, and by the way, the whole rationale behind the toroid design, I really like spheres.
Mhm.
But the thing is, in order to make a viable house in the shape of a sphere, the diameter would have to be at least 36 feet. Otherwise, what you have, it starts encroaching on the internal space. Like, Richard Buckminster Fuller experimented with 20-foot diameter fly's eye domes, and he found the
Mhm.
space inside was really hard to manage
Mm.
because it's just kind of in the range of, okay, it's a little too big, a little,
Yeah.
so
I lived in a
the
yurt
minimum.
for a bit. A yurt, even a yurt is a little. It's just too. It's just empty space.
Mm, right. So by going to a toroid, the toroids, I say, it's 10-foot sections. Now that's big enough where you can stand in there and you can stretch your arms out and not touch the walls, but it's also not encroaching either.
Yeah.
There's just enough
The
space
donut all the way around.
where nothing is wasted. I'm sure wherever you are now, like in your home, if you look, there's a corner in your house where the ceiling and two walls converge, where nothing is ever going to occupy that space, but you're paying to heat it.
Hmm. Hmm.
That space has pretty much no value. I mean, you'd almost be better off putting like an equilateral triangle in there just to reduce the volume of your house. you know. So
Yeah.
what happens when you start getting into round structures? You eliminate those things. In other words,
Mm.
it's efficiency of material use,
Yes.
basically.
And then
Here's
like energetic and spiritual. Like there's no little funky business hanging out in quarters. It's the energy, just like any healthy system, is moving.
mm, I know entities were fond of stealing corners. I guess
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
so
That's where they go. Yeah. When you smudge, you got to get up in the, you know. But
I
you know.
didn't know that. That's like a smudging technique. I wasn't aware
Yeah.
of
Yeah. 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 The idea is, yeah. No. It's. I'm so tired of living in boxes and so tired of living in lines. Um, yes, there's lines in nature, but there's a lot more curves. And so, yeah, I loved so this toroidal home, and if I remember correctly, it's self-heating, self-energized, like,
Well,
tell us more
there's a
about it.
lot of ways to heat a house that don't cost anything. I mean, if you think about it, you can heat your house with compost.
Yeah,
Let's say
so many
let's
ways.
say you have a great big pile of compost outside your house right now. Well, you could
Mhm,
put ductwork, or you could put drain tile under that and route
mhm,
air through it. And that
mhm.
chemical reaction from the compost decomposing generates a lot of heat, and it generates it for months.
There you go. So many solutions, so many solutions. Um,
Bunch of solutions.
so many. I mean, they're like all the solutions we could possibly need. Okay. Well, I like the floating house idea. I would love for you to work on that. Tell us about the jetpacks. Tell us about
Well,
what
that
did you call
falls
it?
back on if I were going to make a jetpack, I would make it to where you have the power source on your back, which would
Yes.
be electrical,
You have a
obviously.
design for this, by the way, everybody go to his YouTube page, Ron's Big Ideas.
Oh, I mean, actually, I think but you know what? I got to tell you, I've actually put videos up. I've taken videos down. I think at one on them that would kind of have the same mechanical buoyancy as a hovercraft would.
Mm,
Um, but I don't know. I'll have to go through my repertoire videos to see if I still have that one up. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but that's something that could be done. I think.
yeah.
Let's say, well, let's talk about modes of travel for a moment. How we move about.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, the most efficient means of moving is actually flight.
Mm,
I'll give you an example that there's a YouTuber, Cars and Cameras. They like to do things with a little 670 cc V twin engine. They put one in a Volkswagen Beetle. They put one in a motorcycle. But that same engine was put in a small single seat airplane. And the difference between that is if you put that engine on a motorcycle, well, motorcycles have inherently poor aerodynamics.
mm.
So I'll tell you what, I even give you the name of the guy that developed the airplane. His name's Leon Davis, and his airplane is a DA 8. Has a little 20 horsepower engine. The thing cruises at 100 out of a car.
You just clicked out there while you were saying cruise it at, and then it went blank for a little bit.
I'm sorry. It cruises at 100 miles per hour.
Mm, cool. Oh, you're freezing up again.
I was wondering what happened. We got some stormy weather. I almost wonder if that has something to do with it.
It'd be.
Okay.
Mhm,
Um, but I'll tell you what. I traded one with this. His airplane
mhm.
consumes 1 gallon of fuel every 100 miles while cruising at 100 miles per hour.
Wow, this is already created.
Oh yeah, it exists.
Wow.
It's a video you can watch on YouTube. The guy this he's a little old guy somewhere in Texas. Likes to fabricate these little metal airplanes, and I guess the thing, I actually did make one video, and I know this isn't still up. Imagine if we had airships, like personal airships.
That's what it was. That's what I'm calling your jetpack. It was the one. It's like you had a drawing of a guy with it's like a tube over his head. I don't
Oh
know.
no, no, okay, that's something wholly different. That was a wearable transportation. I'm talking about integrating things into your clothing. Yeah, whole different animal there.
Okay, gotcha.
Um, um, but let's imagine for a moment you have an airship to get around it.
Mhm.
Okay, and you're flying along the treetops in the boundary layer, and you have a mechanical failure. Well, in an airplane, that is a death sentence. But if you were in an airship, and you lose power, uh, that you're perilously heading to the ground in a great big inflatable air mattress at 11 miles an hour. If you think about the Hindenburg is the worst airship crash in history. In the Hindenburg, you had 9 million cubic feet of hydrogen burning above the passenger compartment.
Mm.
And the only people that died were the ones that bailed out. Everybody that stayed in the passenger compartment lived.
Wow.
So
Wow.
if you think about it, I would call it a pretty safe mode of transportation.
Hmm.
But these are. It's funny. These are all old world things that were abandoned.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a lot of designs of old world stuff because they're
Mhm.
so simple and clean. And how would you mix what like new technologies with old world ideas?
Oh, oh, sorry about that.
Just going back to that. No, no. Going back to that, the dream of your, I don't know, like we can't call it skunk works. The dream of your clean works is like you've got all of the technologies and all the support you need to
Well,
make
no,
anything you want.
here's another thing. We probably want to look at several different modalities too. Like maybe we actually ought to take a look at how much we actually move and how much that's necessary.
Yeah.
If you think about it, I mean, everybody likes to travel, obviously, but
Tartaria, Evan says. Yeah, exactly, Tartaria.
mhm.
Yeah.
But how much? Oh, yeah, okay. He's a fan of Tartaria. That's another rabbit hole. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've actually studied the Tartaria thing. By the way, it's fascinating stuff. Um, but where were we going with this?
Where like how much to travel? I mean, it's true. It's like but so it's like what's the most efficient I mean, because in the end we're talking about travel. Like we got the houses down, we'll have our Hupper houses, cool. But we're really talking about personal travel devices. It's like my vision is literally like everything's back to sort of extremely natural earthen homes and gardens everywhere and everything's opened up. There's no countries, there's no nothing. It's just heaven. And in addition to having a lot of ancient and um natural village designs, there's also modern futuristic, hovercrafts and ways of easily going
Well,
place to place.
okay, let's throw this around a little bit. Tell you something. If you wanted to look this up, it's really neat. The car that Henry Ford developed in 1896, the quadricycle. I think that's a direction we ought to look at too, maybe even just as a stopgap, because this car was basically it was basically made off of motorcycle and car parts.
Hmm,
And it goes back to the days of the buckboards and the carriages and things like that. Those vehicles are very practical because how light they were.
hmm,
Maybe didn't even necessarily need well-defined roads to travel.
hmm,
And another benefit, they'd be really, really, really inexpensive to build.
hmm.
One of the,
Could we make them into airships?
yeah,
Because yeah, okay.
oh yeah. But that, like I said, that's that there's a lot of directions to go in. Um,
Well, this
but
is the question I have. It's like it's like uh, people say all the time, like, they'll criticize me for, like, I'm too pie in the sky or something, or that this is going to be hard. It's got to be a hard transition. But I've got too much experience with, like, the waking up process where people are just, like, woken up from a spell of whatever fear they have or whatever, and then they're just freed up, and we're just free, and their life changes overnight. And I
mhm,
just know people, and I know what we're capable of, and I know all the they're not conspiracy theories, they're truths, conspiracy truths about everything that's been buried and all the all the technology and all the abundance that's available to all of us. And so we're all just sitting like, well, we could create heaven today. Um, and we don't need it to be linear in the old world way where it's like this sort of stepwise evolutionary thing. Like when you and I were talking about on the live the other day, like um or no, on the phone, where I was like, you were like, "Well, I don't need any money," and I was like, "Yeah, but in reality, there's no scarcity, so there's no need for you to like sacrifice or not make money." Like, meaning, here's $1 billion to create your clean works. Like,
mhm.
nobody loses because Ron gets 1 billion. We're all probably billionaires when
Here's
you
the whole crazy thing about money. I mean, let's say we all woke up tomorrow and we're billionaires.
yeah,
Y-
we
What
wouldn't
need to
need it.
go for money?
Well, this is the point. This is exactly what I'm saying. It's like
I
all
have this crazy
it
thought
comes
that
down.
if I were Elon,
We
let's
have
say I
to
were
let go of the
Elon
old
Musk.
world thinking. Yeah.
Mhm. If I were
Where it's
Elon
like,
Musk, I'd tell you what I would do as a social experiment. And I thought about this forever. I'd say, here's all the money I have in my personal bank accounts. I'm going to redistribute it to everybody.
yep,
And I would do that without fear. And you know why? Because it's all going to end up back with me
of
anyway.
course. Of course, of course. It's you're we're all connected. It's like
Right.
pouring into your own cup, pouring into your own. I mean, I was thinking like I gotta get let go of the cup metaphor because it has a bottom, versus when you pour into people, or this vision of like all of us just here, just give us the money. We will make the Garden of Eden like overnight. It's not even a thing. And then Elon and everybody else can come play. So,
Sure.
but it's like your first reaction, and I get it, me too, is like, well, I don't need anything. And it's like, yeah, of course, but we have everything. We already have it in spades. So it's like, I'm encouraging everybody, and I'm talking to myself here, of like, skip to the end. Skip to the like the good part. Skip to the poet. Skip to the like the
So
dream.
from one right to 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because what we don't need to like slave away at the evolutionary steps. Like which is not to I'm not like I don't want to skip any steps that we need. But on the other hand, we have it all. It's like we already have the free energy, we already have anything. And I'm just not because I'm not mechanically inclined, right? I vision other things. I can definitely vision the housing and I can vision the people. Like I know people, right? I've worked with people for 30 years. I know we'll all just be family. Like as soon as the spells are broken, it's just bliss. It's really, really fun. Um, so I'll bank on that. But I need your help to go, but what's the dream of like or of like the hovercrafts and like how we actually transport what is transportation in a completely free world where there's no limitation and we can get a blueprint made in an afternoon.
Well, like I said, well, the thing that resonates with me is eliminating the waste of the system.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here's an example. I hate the fact that we have crude oil being shipped from the other side of the world here when we have it here.
Yeah.
You know,
But in your designs we wouldn't even use crude oil at all.
right. Crude oil, we could just leave it in the ground because
Just
it
leave it in
should
the
stay
ground.
there anyway.
Well, this is the practice we want us to get into is like we skip crude oil. We skip like even piston
Well, there's
engines.
an
It's like
analogy I made several times. We've missed a lot of rungs on the technological ladder. And the thing is, I used to do this on Facebook. I created a timeline. In a normal world, by 1940, everybody would have had Burke engines in their cars because that's when the engine that Sky Huddleston was working with, the Burke engine.
mm,
And once the 1950s turned around and Felix Wankel came out with a rotary engine, we would have, it seems to me that in a normal world, whenever the better idea emerged, everyone would immediately latch onto it,
yeah.
you know,
But not in the
and
artificial fake matrix. We don't. Like
right.
we
Um,
murder people.
well, I mean, the whole crazy thing about, if you talk to a car guy about Felix Wangel's rotary engine, the first thing they're going to tell you, well, it's a horrible engine and it has really high exhaust gas temperature. And then you had one shade tree mechanic in Alabama said, the only thing wrong with that engine is the spark plug aperture was too big. If all those engineers would have just made this spark plug aperture smaller, that engine would be in everything
It's always
again.
the smallest thing.
Right. It's some ridiculous little thing that, and here's the funny part about when Mazda started to develop that engine. Um, they hired the 24 best engineers in Japan to develop it. And I have a really hard time believing that all 24 of those engineers overlooked that. I,
We're gonna
I,
probably not.
like they were instructed to overlook
Yeah.
that or
They're
design that into it because okay, we want to play with this for a little bit, but eventually we want to phase it out too.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the whole point.
Well, this is it.
Um,
This is it. So how do we
it's
do we
funny in
really
the
it's just
time that
like
we've talked, tonight, we haven't covered a lot of things. I mean, um, just speaking of scarcity, I want you to imagine for a moment you had an engine that you put any liquid in it and it converts that liquid into a plasma.
mm,
Okay, you were talking about transmutation of elements. There's a guy named Paul Pantone. Basically, what he was trying to do is trying to retrofit all of our bad technology with this technology of his, just to use as a stopgap until we get to where we need it to be. So,
yeah.
there's plenty of problem solvers out there.
Totally. I guess this is my question is like do we even need stopgaps? Like
Well, no,
I think
right now we're at a stage of the game where the stopgaps ought to just, well, okay,
they
it
just
was a
go
nice
yeah.
spot, but
Well,
let's
this is
move
it.
on.
And
Yeah.
like and I my vision I'm always like trying to look from everybody's perspective. So I'm looking from the perspective of being a desperate billionaire or whatever, a guy of influence who knows the jig is up, who knows the game is over, but he's scared and he's also he says his limited scope. He doesn't have vision, and but he could get excited like Elon gets excited about rockets. I'm always using him as an example. If it was like, here's here, look, literally in a week, you can have your jetpack,
I'd
right?
love to sit down with these guys and talk. I mean, at one time I had the idea. I think I made a post about this on Facebook. I theorized we could have these tiny little remote control POV vehicles that we use for grocery delivery and, like DoorDash and things like that,
Mhm.
just to get drivers off the road. I actually thought about offering that to Elon Musk. Hey, here, check us out. This is yours.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. You're a billionaire, but I'm going to give this to you and see what
Mhm.
his reaction would be. And I almost wonder if he'd accept it because here you'd be introducing something that would save countless lives every year. If we're going to have autonomous vehicles.
Yeah.
Why not just take the driver completely out of it,
Sure.
scale everything down, and have our deliveries done in these small scale vehicles where the drivers aren't in danger anymore?
Sure.
So I
100%.
actually
But, we wouldn't have grocery like, in my world, there's no grocery stores, you know?
played exactly.
But
You
yes.
could change that out too. Did I don't know if you've ever seen this. 10 years ago, I saw there was a startup for a robotic farm
Mm.
where you have this flat surface and there's a plotter that moves back and forth and plants the seeds, applies a perfect amount of water to it,
Mhm.
and it's all 100% automated.
Mm.
In other words, I want you to imagine you have a garden. This garden could actually be inside your home
Mhm.
in a vertical arrangement. And well, yeah, and think about this in the time of AI. You have the managed elect. You have a garden, so that's displacing a lot of your groceries, and you can grow it in whatever conditions you want. You can use perfect chemistry, you could use electroculture, magniculture, whatever,
Right.
because you're 100% in control of
Right. Right. And you could build lots of earth buildings to house
it. Demons,
into
sure.
inside gardens and be
And to actually create the perfect environment for your plants to go. In other words, you're eating things that are grown in a perfect environment.
Yes, I have my little garden beds, and I'm like, it can't even them, they can't be perfect, but you can create these buildings in no time and create the,
Were
uh
you? I'm just curious. You grow some of your own things. That's
I
something I
do.
didn't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Tell you what, I wanted to show. I want to share this with you before I forget. The thing I think you ought to get yourself some magnets. Do you know about southern magnet exposure, seed exposure? Do you know about that?
No.
Okay, if you have your little vessel of seeds and you store them on the south facing end of a magnet, they'll grow better because it'll actually improve the seed stock.
Wow. Wow. See, so many cool things like this. This
Mhm.
is what we need, you know? The full, like, I don't know whether it's on Substack or whatever, I keep asking Substack. Imagine
I don't know
20
if it
guys
keeps
like you,
coming
Ron,
up and
and everybody's
everybody.
sharing their blueprints and, you know?
Well, it's funny, your directory. I mean, it was really hard for me to avoid vomiting everything into your.
Well,
Because
I know.
I actually have to discipline myself to like not. Okay, I don't want to dump too much in here because I could make that 10 times as big.
I know. Well,
Um, just
I'm just
random
like, listen,
stuff.
listen, because there's because everybody, Ashley just put like, if I have $1 billion, I would widen my dreams. It's like, yeah, of course, we are all fonts of wisdom and creativity, just total geniuses, every single one of us. We're just it's just a matter of unlocking ourselves, unlocking any fear inside of us, and then unlocking the resources so that we can just do it all, you know? And this is my point of, like, why I'm creating the directory and all these things, is that we become this undeniable network of folks who are just too interesting to ignore. And
Oh, yeah.
where it's like, and we're just doing it. We're just building, we're sharing together, and it's like the cool kids on the new playground.
Mhm.
And and like a magnet, we literally just attract the attention. Um, but it's the same I have the same problem where I'm like, I don't know, everybody's part of this directory initially. I'm just thinking and eventually. I'm just thinking of us as sort of the first waivers, and drawing out showing, really showing the vision, like, look, these are folks who have the blueprints for a free world, just easy life where we're all sharing and having a blast.
Mhm.
It's an afternoon away.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
crazy that with that thing like I got to tell you, probably the first week in the I don't know, you were calling it the clean works, not the skunk works. It'd probably take me a week just to get my head to
well, if you
some
all done
things
some
to
adjustment
calm
to, like, oh
down.
my god, the bounty. Totally, and, like, making all your friends, like, meeting it's like meeting your people too, you know? meeting, like, imagine meeting, guys just like you who, like, also have,
Sure.
and then just because this is how source works and life works, is that their blueprint fits perfectly with yours, you know what I mean? And,
Mhm.
like, you just have a ball. It'd be like we're just kids again playing together.
Oh, sure. It's funny. I see a lot of there. I know people that get accused of it. The comment they're immature. I don't think it's immaturity. I think it's just your mind has fluidity.
Fluidity.
You have the
That's right.
fluidity of a child, basically.
Yes.
Here
Which is
I'm
which is
50.
what genius is, which is genius just being, like, open to it's really one mind, and you become an open channel, a fluid open channel for all these
Mhm.
ideas, and you know very well that, like, the same blueprint, the same design has come through many, many people, often at around the same time.
It's funny. Paul Pantone said that in one of his lectures. This popped into my head when you said that. Um, you've seen where someone will say, "Hey, this thing was invented. I thought of that 5 years ago."
Yep.
And Paul Pantone said, "It's funny. The universe is always sending us downloads."
Totally,
And
and
the thing is,
uploads.
they hit more than one person though.
They hit more than one person, and exactly, and then when we, being in the business of helping people open their channel, like, just seeing through their limitations, feeling into their body, healing their wounds, it's like they open the floodgates, and who they thought they were, and it's no, it's like we are endless fonts of creativity. It's literally that's what we are. And it's so fun. It's just like being children again, except ye be as little children. You cannot enter the kingdom of heaven.
Oh, that's interesting. I forgot about that first.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. I think that's something that people should endeavor to hang on to.
Yes.
The little,
Yes.
it's funny. There's a
It's right
song by
here.
Tom Cochran. The boy inside the man.
The boy
Now,
inside the man.
yeah,
Yeah.
you want to keep that. You want to keep that little bit of fluidity. You don't want to let
I would
go of
say
that.
keep all of it. Don't like being an adult or being, it's like it's putting on a performance. Adult is a performance. It's bullshit. I hate it so much. It's so stupid. There's nothing dumber than, like, professionalism and, like, I don't know, whatever bullshit. It's just like we all the common denominator for everyone is we all just wanna play. We all just wanna play all day. For there not to
Yeah.
be work, everything is play, and it's work is play, like, same, same.
Well, I mean,
There's
but
nobody would argue with that, and everybody would turn into a genius, overnight.
hmm? Want to imagine if people were doing something that they actually felt good about, and hey, look at the guy. I'm not making the world worse. I'm actually making it better. Imagine that.
Imagine that, I don't have to work for the machine, I don't have to be a gear in the machine. I can be a seed in the garden.
There's something. One of the things. If there was like the car guys, I'd like to show to them. Um, you know, we're talking about gears. If you think about it, if you look what a gear is a lever.
Mm,
It's a complex lever. You know, um,
mm,
one of the things I set out to do is, okay, I want to make an engine, I want to make a transmission, and I want to make them as lacking in complexity as I could possibly make them.
yeah.
And the best way to explain this is, I want to. You've probably taken a nut off of something with a ratchet socket in your life. I'm going to imagine you kind of look like you would have done that
Just a few times.
ratchet on.
Mm,
And the first thing you do, you move your hand out to the outermost part of that and you break it loose. Well, once the nut's loose, what do? Well, your fingers move in toward the center of the ratchet
mhm,
because you can make that nut back off faster by doing that.
mm,
Well, that thought process can be applied. Something that simple can be applied to make something like an infinitely variable transmission, something
mm,
with no gear, no belt, just levers. I actually have
really?
this on. Um, I'd actually have to show you, but I've actually designed a transmission based on that premise.
Wow.
It is extraordinarily simple. The engine has one moving part, the transmission has two. And one thing I was trying to do this, I wanted to make something. I want you to imagine somebody's putting a different engine and transmission in your car, and it's got a carrying handle like a briefcase. It's the engine and the transmission, and they can carry it with one hand and put it in your car without having to have a cherry picker or something big heavy thing.
Wow.
Yeah, just imagine the economic impact of that.
Just that one thing.
Um,
Hmm.
right, just that one thing, and that's what I'm saying. There's a flood of those things go through my. It's always processing that. I've always see, which not that I believe in OCD. I think that's a, I don't know, that's
No, there's
control.
no such thing as a mental disorder. I'm the psychologist. I will tell you, it's all bullshit.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But the thing is, the reason we obsess about this thing is we don't have any outlet to create them.
Yes, exactly,
You know,
exactly.
you think about it, if I built that thing, I wouldn't have to think about it anymore, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah,
Hey,
well,
there
exactly. And
it
if
is.
I exactly, and if I wouldn't be depressed or anxious or whatever, if, given first of all, if I unlock my beliefs, but yeah, given the opportunity to do whatever we want to do and explore whatever we want to explore, where's the problem?
Mhm. Right. Exactly. And the thing, like I said, I think that's just like one small facet of things. I mean, you know, it would be interesting to do these things, if for nothing else, just for something to, I don't know, play with. Speaking of being like children,
It's just
because
playing. Yeah.
right, once we had the free energy solution and then whatever, would we phase out the old world stuff, or would we keep it some example laying around just to play with,
Yeah,
or like
it
a
would be like
hobby?
playing with toys. That's how I see it. I see it like I might like keep my truck and put in a clean engine like the one you designed because I like it. I like to hang out in my truck, but
I'm just curious, what kind of truck do you have?
I have a Ford F-150.
You have a Ford F-150. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that newer?
2019.
What's it, 2019? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, there's something you might want to look at. Those are notoriously, just depending on what engine's in it. I don't know. It may have one of the engines that allow, Ford actually had some engines that were um, like 500,000 mile engines, like the 300 inline six. I don't know I'm not familiar enough with the Ford F-150 that new to say, but here's something. Um,
I would just
you
make it
know,
into a spaceship for fun. I really don't believe it.
yeah, the big steam turbo, whatever, the one,
Yeah.
or my briefcase engine transmission. I could probably make that work, and then you could use that space under the hood as a frunk.
There you go. Yeah.
Very the idea of the frunk, the thing up in the front of the car that you stow all your stuff in. Um, but no, the thing that I can see happening with that. Um, I mean, I'm just gonna get. God, I don't want to paint this nightmarish picture for you, but there's been examples of those that have had cascading electronics failures.
Mm.
Do you
I
know?
really don't care. I'm like I don't like I have
You
zero
know,
investment.
lie awake at night thinking about it or anything.
No.
That's not what I'm trying to do
Well,
here. But
I have zero investment in old world anything. Like I don't care. I know we're in the free space. And
right,
we're just dreaming now we're dreaming into reality,
right.
the
Well,
free world.
this is something I wanted to bring up tonight too. The mentality I think we need to be developing now is the, hey, let's head in the exact opposite direction of this mentality. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah.
hey, Ford's making cars that cost $6,000 if you have a tail light failure. We need to let's head the
Yep.
totally opposite direction of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm very aware that my truck and all like, it's old. I just think of it as like old world design, and I literally mean it just be nostalgia. I would just like for fun put a hover, a hovercraft
Oh, sure.
technology
Yeah.
inside the Ford F-150. I
I'm
think
not.
it'd be
I'm
pretty
not
fun.
presenting. I wouldn't love to have like a 1974 Lotus Europa or something like that. That'd be a fun little. Yeah, that's something that'd be back in the corner of your garage or something to break out on weekends or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. Although because so this is a good catch. It's like there's no our whole lives are weekends. Our whole life is a vacation, right? In our world, there's no in the world that's here. There's no jobs, right? We're literally just playing all day, and so consider us the first kids on the playground, right? It's playground Earth. And not everybody knows yet. And we're here and we're like the fun kids, like, well, what are we going to play with? What are we going to do? We're going to make this and do this and this. And we just start doing it.
So
And then
you
it's
being
so
everybody,
compelling that it's like, here comes the wealth transfer. Yeah.
yeah. And the thing is, about falling back on your conversation about the defectors that you talk about, I actually I'm actually surprised no one's coming approaching you about that because if I were them, I'd be really worried right now. I would really
This is exactly my point. I'm like, they don't have any more moves anyway.
yeah.
What are they, what's the
Yeah,
move? There's no more
they're
move.
looking as a checkmate right now. Okay,
They're in the
the
million
other
checkmate. Yeah, it's like the checkmate, like the chess piece is already toppled, right? It's like, so I'm just like, when are you guys gonna call? Because we got all the free world leaders. We do, we do,
but you have a
and
chance. You could back out of this.
yeah, you can back out of it. You can, and like I'm your friendly neighborhood hobbit. Like, I welcome everybody. We're everybody's a part of this. Like, nobody's banished. You know what I mean? That's what they are projecting onto us all. That the mob will get them. It's like, we're not interested. We're really not interested in lynching you. We're interested in your money so that we can get this party rolling.
Yeah, right.
That's
Yeah,
literally all we're interested in.
that's
And
that
then
little
you
technicality.
come play with us.
Yeah,
What's that?
yeah, that little technical. Yeah, we would be interested in this.
We're
But
interested in the money, and then you can come play with us, but it's not, we're not banishing, we're not hurting, we don't have any revenge fantasies. Like, that's just, we're too interested in having fun and too liberated. We're just too liberated a people. So yeah, I know. I'm like, it's just gonna take one, and I don't know where it comes from, but um, I'm like, do I hire an LA publicist? Do I hire, like, just to go, like, I need an agent on behalf of we the free, you know? Anyway.
don't fall into the AI trap or something. I don't know. It's funny. I actually thought about that one time. I want to take all the things I've drawn and make it into an illustrated book. Maybe I need to have a AI help me write that. And I got thinking, why wouldn't I just have a human being do that?
Mhm,
You know,
mhm. Sure,
you
sure.
know.
I mean, AI is us too. It's an extension of our consciousness, and it's always been here. It's just being
I
remembered.
like the analogy that it's a mirror.
It's a
You know,
mirror. Yep.
it's a mirror.
Yeah. And a good
Um, you
assistant.
know, what's the really crazy thing about AI is there's a lot of good it could be doing
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of good
that
it
it's
is doing.
not doing. Well, yeah, yeah, sure, there's some, but like take for example generative design. You can run like I could take my Toroid print and run it through a generative design program, and that generative design program saying, okay, this is everywhere where this doesn't need material. So
Mhm.
we can make it way half as much so the MHD lifters don't have to work as hard to keeping it airborne. Or
Yeah, I like
yeah,
it. See, this
yeah.
is it. It's like it's our creativity that feeds it. It's it's its capacity. And Evan has a really good paper, the Taos formula, Taois, about how to basically wrap AI in ethical.
Is it Taoist like Taoism?
It's not, it's more like, it's pronounced more like Taos, New Mexico, but it's
Oh, okay, okay.
Taois, the theater. Um, oh, sorry, Evan, tell us about it. I can add you on here if you want. Here he says, if playing chess against a computer opponent, they rarely never surrender on their own accord. They play it out till checkmate, stalemate, or etc. 50 plus rule. Yeah, it's true. And I mean, aren't we, like, I don't see any more moves. Like, it was always a fascist state, but now it's very clearly a fascist state. There's no more, like, when the idea of America is gone. And that was the last holdout of the idea of a free world. It was never a free world. And so
Right.
that is
It
just
hasn't
over.
been free for 100 years.
It has
That
never been
was
free. It
right.
hasn't, I mean, in modern, it's like ancient, we go back, but we haven't been, we are under the thumb of the empire. And it's one state. There's not multiple governance. and the
You think
US
about it,
was
you know,
just the good the face,
supposedly
the friendly face.
we want our
What's that?
independence from England, but England still controls us. You know, we're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
being
and the
controlled in London.
Bank of England and the whole thing. So,
London,
yeah, it
London
ends
and
up
Rome.
being,
Yep.
but so now we're in the mass awakening, everybody gets that now. They're like, "Oh, America wasn't what I thought it was." Yeah, no, it never was. So,
Somebody put an article about that on some. You know, there were no good old days. You know,
no, no, there was never
that was
America's, yeah, there was no, we everything was, the whole world was created with rape and pillaging, so the colonies, the colonial world, the one colony, it's just one colony. Um, so we're decolonizing ourselves, and by the minute, and remembering who we really are as source, who we really are as free people, who we really are as creators. We can create whatever we want. This world is whatever we want. There isn't like the oppressor, the colonizer is just it's just a projection. The government never even existed. It was still just brick and mortar. So when we stop believing there is a bad guy, when we stop believing in the government, the whole thing ends. And that's what's happening. The mass spell is waking up. So that's the checkmate in the end, is that there's nobody to uphold it anymore. So so they're going to have to turn toward us, and everybody who's connected here are like the hearts of gold. Like, we're awake. We're like, we literally are saying out loud, I just want to play. Look, here's a free energy system. Look, here's an engine that runs forever. Look, here's a meditation that shows you your God. Look, here's functional nutrition that, from Miriam, who's here, that'll heal your inflammation, heal your kidney issue, heal your whatever. We've got the best healers, the best everybody.
You know, there's something I wanted to touch on before I forget. I mean, sorry, we're all over the map here, I guess. But you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I brought up this 12 cell tissue salt.
Yes.
That's something that's if anybody's in it, that's worth investigating because earlier in the 20th century, there was a group of doctors called the biochemics. They had the biochemic model of medicine, and the assertion they made was that disease isn't caused by something that's there, that's external. It's what isn't there that you need to look at. Um, the 12 cell tissue salts, I can't name them off the top of my head. I just basically use a blend of all of them. But
Mm.
that's something that I think everybody should be familiar because that's basically the cure for every disease there. If your body, most of what disease does, for let me think here. The biochemists, I mean, there was no disease.
You're kinda clicking out, if you can hear me. Shoot, we were gonna solve all health issues. Miriam, if you're still here, I'd love to know your thoughts on this salt thing. Ron, if you can hear us, we can't, I mean, you can probably see, we can't see you or hear you. Alright, I'm gonna try to add him again. Hi, Ron. I'm gonna trying to add you again, but it's not working. Let me do it one more time. Well,
Are you still with?
yep, we can hear you. It's great. Oh, spoke too soon. There we go. Okay,
Okay.
salts that heal everything.
Okay, yeah, we were talking about the fact. The doctor that wrote these books was Dr. George Washington Carey. And he wrote a book called The Chemistry of Human Life. That's a book I think everyone should take a look at that because it's actually something almost nobody's talking about.
Mm,
Um, but he was claiming, conventional medicine seems confused about. You got to remember, this is 100 years ago. They're talking about things like tuberculosis, and he said these are all just cell salt deficiencies. And
yeah.
so, at any rate, that's something. I just wanted to kind of toss that out there because I brought that up and we never really went into it. So, um,
Somebody else was recently just talking about salt. Trying to remember if it was Claudia. Claudia, I don't know if you know her. Papacharte is her name on Substack. Claudia Reynaud. She's a biochemical engineer and shaman who's been on and has like
also needs to
holographic.
make combination with biochemical engineering.
Yes,
No,
yeah. Also a
I love
chemist.
hearing things like that. Hey, we're
Yeah,
a
yeah.
totally Western sounding thing,
I think you.
entertainment.
Yeah, and a shame. I think you know Claudia. I think you've talked to her before. Maybe
It may
you've
have.
liked some of her stuff.
Oh,
Um,
I'm sure I have. It sounds like I would have.
you would have, yeah.
Um,
But anyway, I'll have to ask her about the salts. But yeah, I mean, she has these holographic healing tools, basically like light technologies that help heal things like the gene therapies. Um, but says that we can all live forever, and that the healing is so simple in the end. It's literally just it's very much like your machines. It's like there's just a simple click. It's like a simple gear or a simple fulcrum and just the right salt or the right
mhm,
lock and key basically
mhm,
unlocks which is if we go back to like health where we were talking about with houses, right? And the healing I do is like you just use your awareness, just feeling into the body where there's like heartbreak that
mhm,
opens up your heart chakra, your whole torus field works better. That's what healing is. Healing just means returning to wholeness. But it's literally just like a dam and a river, and then the major functioning again. So it makes sense to me that there would be a simple salt that would do it.
like I said,
I
these
think
are
we
basically some building block of life kind of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but it's funny. You said if you were to cremate a body, you'd find all these things in the ashes. You know,
Mm,
um, but no, very, very, very simple things. And it's funny. That's another thing. I think we were, a lot of levels were led to believe things are a lot more complex than what they actually are. Um,
100%. Yeah.
yeah.
And everything, right? Everything is made. I mean, just talking about an engine, right? Everything is made, but you said one part engine versus
Well,
how many
okay,
parts are in a current engine?
here's something I can't wrap my head around. Why an engineer would design something that's difficult to put together?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, you would
this
think they would want to make this, okay, I can put this engine in 5 minutes because, hey, that speeds up the production of it and we
yeah.
make more profit. You'd think they would actually have that same thought process. Um,
I've seen it's like because we have it's like a system, it's a system that we train ourselves into. It's basically a prison camp, right? And so we don't none of us want to be in the prison camp. We don't need the prison camp, but the prison camp has to work extra hard to make itself to basically make itself useful, like to
mhm,
look useful. It's like it's all one big acting gig where I'm like we don't need any of this. We don't need school. We don't need jobs. We don't need money. We don't need any of this. But
mhm,
it's like an elaborate storyline that we need it all, and and then because we're dangerous creatures, or something. It's like none of this
mhm,
is true. Not at all. We're not born violent. Nobody is. None of that's true.
mhm.
Anyway, it's like yeah, the over complexity of everything um, is is driving everybody crazy. But the good news is it doesn't work, so we're at the end. We're at the end.
Yeah, I find myself thinking that all the time. I'd love to talk to these guys. Why would you do this?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like,
What
but
the
it's like, because
benefit
that's the
is
job, it's like,
here.
you know, and I mean, I would say it to myself, to my own profession, where people stay in therapy for 10 years, why would you do this? But they're believers, right? It's literally just like being in a spell. We've all been in a spell, where you believe something in a relationship or anything else. And you just think like, I'm doing a good thing here, and this is how you do it. And this is, I need the job and I have kids to feed or whatever. And then
Mhm.
just keeps you in this vortex.
Mhm. Well, yeah, and I guess sometimes I forget that too because I've been outside of it for so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been outside of that system, so yeah, sometimes I forget what it's like. Because I think I one time I was there. Well, don't ask too many questions.
Don't ask questions. Yeah. Just keep your head down,
Keep
just
your
because everybody's
keep your head
just trying
down.
to survive. Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, um, here's another thing. We're talking about the skunk works. There are so many untried ideas in the world that it's funny. All the patents are expiring. I
Mhm.
can think of several right off the top of my head. There's a guy named Angelo Di Pietro. He's an Italian engineer. He invented this pneumatic engine that is extremely low friction. And that'd make a wonderful steam turbine because of the way. And hey, here's the thing: he made it in 1990, so those patents were expired probably 10 years ago. So
Mm,
like I said, whenever this gets rolling, we're gonna have a ton of things to work with. you know, it just
exactly.
yeah.
That's what I've been seeing. It's like with the level of abundance in every possible way is unfathomable. Like we've got to stretch our mind of like, I want you to imagine heaven times 1,000.
Mm,
Like, it's like that because it's just that because that it's like all this potential energy that's built up, and there's just been this split between like the hoarders and the rest of us kind of thing, which I learned the billionaires and above are 0.00003% of the population. Um, but when that dam breaks, it's just going to be an unbelievable flourishing. So, yeah, like, and everybody we talk to, right? It doesn't matter what it is. It's health and well-being. And, I've talked to so many folks with ancient medicine and codes and scrolls and AI systems and now, engines and designs for everything we could possibly need and more. We're ready to go.
Here's another fine thing too. We look at people like a hero of Alexandria. The joke I make all the time is time travel is not possible because time only exists as a concept. You can move water because water is a physical thing, but time only. The only time that exists is right now.
Mhm,
Future's not here yet. Past is gone.
mhm,
Um, but God, boy, if that was possible, I could think myself sitting here talking to hero of Alexandria. Oh,
mhm.
hey, by the way, here, let's take your engine. This is something called an alternator. I guess you just wonder how wonderful that conversation would be.
Well, I tell you, Ron, because you're right. It's like it's all happening. It's everything everywhere all at once.
Mhm,
And we're all, and it's all one mind. And think of us all as different nodes. And in traditions where we work with our ancestors, Candace DeMesa talks about how there's like, I think it's like 200,000 or more ancestors for every one of us.
mhm,
That's just your, like, earth ancestors. But anybody who you connect with, you is available as like a consultant. And you can connect with them. You can literally
mhm,
just connect with their mind. And they're really just, because it's all just one mind, it's one consciousness, different nodes, it's like a neural network.
mhm,
Um you it's like and they're part of your it's your brain, it's your mind.
mhm.
So you
Yeah,
can literally
I
just like
wanted to
have
see there
that
was something like
conversation.
that going on
Yeah.
because a lot of people's work resonated with me. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I would have loved to have known Hero. you
Yeah.
know,
And I'm like, very well, maybe are in that lineage. Like, you think of it that way. It's like there's a resonance there, right? Like, I have resonances with people who, are not in my bloodline, and um and goddesses and all kinds of fun things. So I would play with it. I would play with having the conversation. Just open your mind up because
Or
you're
George
gonna get
Santanasco or one of those guys. Hey
yeah,
George,
yeah.
guess what? Guess what? Hey George, check this out. This really wonderful transmission you designed back in 1924. Hey, there's guys in my time
Yeah.
that you know think about that, and we have so much better design tools.
Yep.
That's something that process a lot. These guys invented, these guys design these things with drawing boards and vellum and pencils. you
Yeah,
know,
it's impressive.
they didn't have computer modeling and computational fluid dynamics and all this other stuff we have now,
Hmm.
and we can't come up with anything that good.
So fun. Well, I'd love to know what he says back. He talks But, you've got it's like it's this is the convert I'm thinking of it, it's like it's a remembrance right now that we're all in. It's also a convergence. It's a convergence of all of us who've been scattered and, a convergence of the folks who've passed on and the folks who are here now, and we're all, like, coming together to bring our blueprints together, to play together, to build cool shit together, and, then it's just an inevitable convergence of the money piece. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
So,
that one little, that's the linchpin.
it's the linchpin, and it's already happened energetically. It's literally just like
Maybe what we need to do, we need to look at circumventing it. How do we circumvent it? Look at the
yeah.
very nature of money itself. Maybe we need to take on the
Well,
Marcus Aurelius approach to this. What is this in and of itself? How can we circumvent it? You know,
true. Evan wrote us a white paper on gift coin, which is to make Bitcoin into a gift ledger instead. That's one way to do it. Um, Lots of ways to think differently about money. The truth is, we won't need money very quickly. I think what basically happens is that it's just, it- yeah. There's one or two big defectors, and then that they are followed, and it's just the party is too fun. The party is too fun, which is my party idea, right? Like throwing a party. But really, I'm like, I think the party just happens when the defector, the superhero.
okay.
um,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's just, which doesn't mean we aren't building and communing and all the things. Like we're just doing it. But it's like the garden blooming, like real the super bloom. Happens when there's no ownership, when we're not having to like buy property and do all these different things that make everything so unnecessarily hard. But
We,
it's just a free gift, and then the
I
gift
wanted to share this
ecology goes.
thought. I wanted to share
Mhm.
this thought with you because this is
Yeah,
actually something you made me think of. I've always been kind of fond of the idea of property ownership and allodial title. But at the same time, I heard you talk about this. I thought, well, you know what? Yeah, there's a lot of downside to having property. you know, I have an ancestor. Part of my ancestors, Native American. These are people that wandered the earth forever, never owned property at all, and
yeah,
they did okay. And
yeah.
they didn't even wrap their minds around the concept of it.
No,
So I guess
because it
that's not
doesn't
really
make any
good.
sense. It's one body. It's just one body. We know. I mean, it's like I have a new pancreas every day. The cells are like there's
Oh
no
yeah, like fun.
there's
You think
no
about it,
barrier.
we're
Right.
talking about disease being cellular damage. Well, that's
Yeah.
what we are. We're perpetual cellular regeneration.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where's the line? Where's the property? There's no actual border on anything.
Mhm.
It's just a hallucination.
Right, and
And
there's an administrative nightmare attached to that too. You have to have a recording office and all these
everything,
other right.
everything,
So,
man-made laws are what make us all crazy. So the whole thing's got to go. Like there's no part of the system that stays because it's all intertwined. So there's no ownership. There's no, uh,
you know what?
legal
I
stuff.
always hated the use of that terminology too. They're calling it laws
Mhm.
because man tends to conflate law with policy.
Yeah,
When we refer to policies as the laws, it almost looks like it gets more weight than it actually has. I mean, that's something I like to. Yeah,
totally.
we remember. I think we talked about this on the phone, the legal system and all that's smoke and mirrors,
So crazy.
conflating concepts.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. There's no
and
field
like,
that isn't crazy because it's just all unnecessary. It's just all unnecessary. Literally we all just want to play and make fun things and enjoy ourselves, and it's all very available. It's 100% available. So, you know, but we're there. We're just we're just hanging out in the meantime, and it's like
well,
I'll uh I'll
well,
uh I'll
this
call
is
you.
another thing
You know
too.
what I mean? Tell you when Lockheed Martin is yours, but or you call me.
Well, then we'll have like a funny matter if I see you handing me that key to the building. Oh yeah, this is good.
Exactly. I'm like, as if it's me. It's like I'm just all I am is just like the one just blowing the whistle, like, hey, the game's over. In case anybody didn't want to, in case anybody wanted to admit
Here's
it.
the code for the keypad and thank
Yeah,
you on
exactly. It's just hand me the
the
key, hand us the keys, give them to Ron. Yeah, and only
code.
everybody would agree that your use of Lockheed Martin's um, assets and resources is we'd much rather you be there than the military.
It's a funny mental picture. I got to tell you that. I mean, walking. Hey, what do you guys got in here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. We're coming. We're
Let's go in the other room here. See what you got. What have you been keeping from us in the last few years? It's lots of fun. You know,
uh-huh. Uh-huh. We're gonna make them all from weaponry to fun stuff.
Richard Buckminster Fuller's terminology is going from killing to living That's
Love that.
that's a Fullerism.
Yeah,
Um,
beautiful. No more no more fighting each other, right? It's so crazy. We're just one family, one earth, one being. It's
I
like
don't know how much of his
right hand
work,
fighting the left.
how much of his
What's that?
work you've ever read, but Richard Buckminster Fuller, he wrote a
Beautiful
lot of
stuff.
really interesting.
Yeah.
He had an imaginary corporation that made flipperies.
I'll
Well,
buy one.
they're called flipperies because they have no practical use. You know, it's a flippery. You know, and the thing is, that flippery was a really common, popular thing at one time, and everybody couldn't wait to get their hands on one. But it's funny, so many cycles are like that. Some fad thing comes out that everybody latches onto, and you know, this is.
Get it. Totally.
But
My
but
ex-husband used to call it the Sidewinder 3000, the item that is totally useless and everybody wants, and that in your mind does everything.
mhm. Yeah. Well, the thing is, once you have it, you don't want it anymore.
Exactly.
How many times I ever? Well, I mean, imagine this happens as a young boy, girls, but you get a toy when you were a kid, and you, oh,
Yeah.
well, they made the scene so much better in the commercial, you know.
I know it. I know it.
You know, well,
Totally.
the appeal wore off quick. You know,
Mhm.
we had
Yeah,
something for like
exactly.
2 minutes that broke.
Totally. Although I your clean works, it would be hard to, like, it'll be a while before I wouldn't be interested in what you guys are
Oh,
making.
sure. Well, yeah, I mean, everything coming out of there would be knock you on your behind kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
But,
Exactly.
hey, look, you know, the thing most people never thought of or whatever, you know, it's,
Yeah.
but, you know, I could just imagine the resources. I mean, they imagine they have every kind of fabrication tool anyone ever conceives.
Totally.
And,
That's what I want for you and for everybody who's making fun stuff, useful stuff. Um, Beautiful, Ron. Well, we didn't we it's like there yeah, we just could go on forever, and I really would love to see, like, you and Evan in conversation and all these other amazing
sure. Oh,
builders,
yeah,
you know?
it could be a great, you know, round table.
Well, this
I
is
bet.
it, and then, like, everybody keep pushing on Substack. I mean, I don't know which way Substack's going. It's looking, more restrictive, but I would just
I
we
wonder
really
if
want, like, the
Substack
big
has
group meeting
bots.
capacity, you know?
You know, I'm actually wondering now if Substack has bots like YouTube,
Yeah.
because there's people all over Substack now complaining about losing subscribers, and that's a YouTube tactic, by the way. Someone
Mm,
will get close to 1,000 subscribers, and all of a sudden their subscribers start disappearing. Well, that's because a percentage of them were subscriber bots.
mm, mm.
You know, YouTube put them there just so they could disappear from the rules the closer you get to 1,000. So,
Interesting.
I mean, it
Wow.
falls back on dead internet theory. You know, everything's becoming bots and whatnot.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, we need the whole new internet too. Well, we're there. It's just, we're just not, um Yeah, we just it's the convergence of the empire resources and the folks who holding the keys. It's like the key masters and the gatekeepers. You know what I mean? We're the gatekeepers of the free world. The key masters come together and we're gonna unlock the whole thing.
Mhm.
But but anyway, in the meantime, everybody check out Ron's Big Ideas on YouTube and reach out and you know if you know a funder, because here's the other thing. It's like we all have these different things to offer, and everybody has incredible things to offer. But we're sort of laying them out, and it's like I'll do the healing. You've got the machines, and Evan's got his AI stuff. Everybody's got something, and then who it's like who's the billionaire, who's the funder, whatever they're interested in, and it comes through Ron's door first or whoever's door first. So
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, that'd be a good
it's good to
conversation to
promote
have with Evan.
it's good to promote each other is my point. Yeah.
Mhm. I mean, that'd be the conversation. I think what I would want to have with Evan is what's the best application of AI?
Yeah, yeah.
How can we extract the best use out of this without it being, because the good or bad in something is who's controlling it in its application. I mean,
Yep.
AI could be the best thing that ever happens, or it could end up weaponized. It could end up something used to our detriment, which seems to have happened with everything else. But maybe AI can go in a different direction.
Yep.
I mean,
Exactly.
that's
See,
really
Evan's
the
got a
only
good
issue.
yeah.
That's the
Read
only
his
issue I
paper.
haven't had
Yeah.
is its
Yeah.
potential misuse. You know,
Yep. That's everybody's concern, and Evan's got a nice solution. So go read that. Evan says reminds me of Ghostbusters, Keymaster, and Gatekeeper. Yeah, that's where I got it from.
goes as
Except
a
this time instead
Bavarian.
of we're opening the gates of hell that they did, we're opening the gates of heaven.
Oh, geez, it's funny. It's made me think of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Because Dan Aykroyd thought, what's the most harmless, innocuous thing I can think of? Ends up being the thing that destroyed the city. There's probably some ostensible message in that somewhere. Thing
Yeah.
crawling inside the writer's head.
Yep. Yep.
The things we think are benign and innocuous really aren't.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. All right. Well, this was such a pleasure. Thank you, Ron. And
Oh yeah,
we'll be in touch.
well, lots of
And
fun.
yeah, totally. This will be
Couple
my
couple
last.
little
This
hiccups,
is
but
yeah, little hiccups, but it was fine. Just made it more, I don't know, friendly and
people don't
familiar.
talk to.
Yeah, we're not perfect here. So this will be this is my last scheduled live stream for now. I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna just do my thing. Maybe hire an LA PR firm. I don't know. But I'll be around. I'll still be here on Substack and hanging out and writing my stuff and joining your live streams. So
Oh,
I'll look out for you and Evan and everybody else on
okay.
here.
All right.
But I'll be back around. I'm sure I'll hop on a live, at some point. But I just need, you know, some time. So
Some need some time to get the thoughts together, probably. I imagine, because I think
yeah,
we all need that to some extent.
totally. And I want
And
to get this
I want to thank
directory ready to go.
I want to thank everybody that showed up. I mean,
Totally.
that's you know, always a pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely. Such a pleasure. Thank you all for being here. And yeah, be in touch, reach out if anything sparked your interest. DM Ron, DM me, DM Evan. We're all in this together. And that's it. Okay.
Okay.
I'll see you around.
All right. Have a good
Okay.
night, everyone.
You too. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.